for the 5th grade Kenpo Karate for Christ, the first of the 2 forms that we have to study is Heian Sandan. This is the 3rd of our Heian forms, our peaceful mind forms, the Okinawan forms, and this one still has a 20 count to it as I teach it, the 20 count, but 19 and 20 are kind of one motion happening together. Anyway, the start of the Heian forms for Heian Sandan is the same as the others here. We're going to start hands out in front. But as I turn to the left, I'm going to open with a fighting stance, vertical outward block, blocking the face. So maybe they open up with a punch attack. And as I step forward, there's a secondary attack as I advance. And I'm doing an inward block with the right, and downward block with the left, where the elbows are almost meeting here in front. Our universal block, I'm creating a wall on that left side. So if it's something like a hooking or a roundhouse kick, it can kind of come up at an angle, it can come in flat, it can come down. Anywhere in that vector, I've created this kind of funnel to catch. It's the same way of doing a cross arm block here, but doing it sideways. And I'm using this, what we call this universal block here. Front hand, the high hand is inward, the back arm is the downward, that way to receive that. I have seen some of the Okinawan systems, some of the other karate systems, will use this in turn as hammer strike follow-ups. Like one's a downward block and then this is following up with the hammer strike. And then it'll follow up on the other side with continued attacks going the other way. I don't know, I teach it as a universal block. It could very well be also utilized that way as one's a block and then the other is a follow-up with the inward hammer fist. In fact, I think there's multiple applications to this form, and I'll talk about that, particularly on the eye section as we're moving back down from the front towards the back. There's a repeat of 3 motions, and there's a lot of different applications and a lot of different interpretations for what those movements can be. So I'll explain them and consider it correct, however somebody is practicing it. I'm not real dogmatic about it, but the movements still stay the same despite on what the application you're thinking of in your mind. So, Heian Sandan starts here. We step outward block, and as I step forward, I'm doing a downward block with the left, inward block with the right at the same time. Universal block. From here, I'm going to draw back into cat stance with the right foot so that I can pivot and do the same thing, protecting myself on the right side. I do a downward block with the right, and a cross inward block with the left now. So it goes universal block on the left side, then universal block on the right side. So follow-up to this could be somebody throws a kick, and as you advance, they do this drop back, roundhouse kick to one side, and then to the other that way. So you're kind of completely defended on both sides. So again, I step out outward block, and I'm stepping forward. Universal block to the left, cat stance, universal block to the right. That's step 2. Step 3, I'm going to step out outward block and repeat that going the other way. I step forward down my universal block. So right hand downward block, left hand inward block. And again, elbows almost meeting here in the middle, creating a small window there so that I'm not uncomfortable and at the same time can stay covered. But I want it all the way, cover that whole right side. And then I'll pull back to cat stance, covering the left side. That's step 4. Right? So first 4 counts go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now 5, I'm going to step forward, and I'm doing this reinforced block, outward block with the other fist behind it, or that could be a secondary strike, block and punch at the same time, or you could be, they could be catching you in like an arm scoop, and you're stopping that particular hold. Again, a lot of applications to this particular movement. Now from here, I'm going to parry in, and we're going to use that step through spear hand strike that we saw back in Heian Sandan. That was our finishing move there for that move, count 8. But at this count, it's step 5, step 6. For step 7, I'm going to assume they grab the wrist. I turn, put myself into a hammer lock here, and continue to spin all the way as I step forward with the left, and an outward horizontal hammer fist to the head with the left fist. That's step 7. And then step 8 is our step through punch, and of course our shout at the same time. Ace! Step 8. So the first 8 counts For Heian Sandan again, from the top goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Ace! Now 9. 9, I'm going to bring the feet in, hands by my side here. And setting up for this next stage, this is more like a resting posture. You can think when they had, the samurai would wear their armor, they would use this particular position to be able to almost sit down, bending the knees, so you don't want to stand for long periods with your legs locked. So they're able to bend the knees a little bit and rest and hold this position for longer times if they were on sentry duty. So from here I'm turning and I'm square. And as the attack comes in, the 3 movements are going to go right side, right side. But I'm doing a right, like an inward crescent kick and step forward, inward elbow strike, followed by an outward back fist. And I'll repeat that with the left, inward crescent, step forward, inward elbow, outward back fist, and then again, right, inward crescent kick, inward elbow, outward back fist. And I'll come to count 16, it'll be a step through left punch and shout, Ace! That'll be the only time we do left. Step through with the left punch, or that we have done up to this point. It's almost always been the right hand. So left hand this last time, boom, as you come to it. Now the counts on that will be, as you turn, so this is step 9, 10 is the crescent, 11 is the elbow back fist, 12 crescent, 13 elbow back fist, 14 crescent, 15 elbow back fist, 16 ace step punch. Right? Now, application to that doesn't have to be a crescent kick, because I've also seen where this is like using your knee to block, kind of like we do with our crane stance. The knee is in position to stop somebody from doing low kicks, so that can be sweeping down with that knee catching somebody who's trying to do a low kick in this instance. And with the inward elbow, I've also seen that as like the wing arm block that we do in this level when you're on your knees for Circle of China. We use that wing arm block to block the kick as it's coming in, or punch attacks that use that wing arm block. So that could be the application instead of an inward elbow, followed by the outward elbow, and sometimes I've seen like more of a downward angle on that, so that it's looping down, but it's almost always some form of back fist is the third move. So whether this is crescent kick, or it's the shin coming in, or even I've seen it where you just lift your foot up high and you're stomping down, either on their foot, or it could be stepping on their knee in process. If the opponent's low, got a low stance, you're stepping up and down and crushing the knee. The motion's the same in either case, right? Whether it's pressing here, or whether it's a big step, whether it's an inward elbow, or whether it's this wing arm, and whether it's an outward whipping back fist, or a downward kind of angle on that. So, for the sake of being consistent, I usually use it as the crescent kick, inward elbow, outward back fist. Let's do the whole form up to step 16. From the top, we have 1, 2, universal, universal, 3, universal, right side, then left, reinforced block, parry, spear hand, spinning hammer fist, step and punch, ace! Then 9, 10 is the crescent, elbow back fist, 11, 12, crescent, 13, elbow back fist, and then 14, crescent, elbow back fist, 15, 16, ace! Step and punch. 17, we're going to come to square, right? That's just lining it up, right? Just like number 9, we're not doing a whole lot other than stepping around the opponent. Then 18, I'm going to step back, spin, and I'm doing that just like a finger set. Elbow with the left with a spear hand over the left shoulder at the same time. And then as I turn 19 and 20 together, is, as I teach it, it's going to be an explosion. Sometimes I just see people settle hard into the stance too, but I like to do it with the jump. Jumping over, step 19, and step 20 is that elbow back and spear hand over the right shoulder. So, the whole form together, Heian Sandan, peaceful mind number 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ace! 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, ace, 17, 18, 19, and 20, and close. And sometimes people will shout on that last move as well. So there's a lot of flexibility with the application of the bunkai in this particular form, but the functional skeleton of the form has always been the same, regardless of what the application is. Whether it's the Korean form of those techniques, the pinyin or the pin-on forms, where they've taken the Heian forms, the Okinawan forms, and used them for Korean systems, and they'll change the name from Heian to pinyin or pin-on forms. This still will look the same. The skeleton is always the same for what this form is. It's just the application, depending on what system you're learning it from, that it will look different. One more time, Heian Sandan from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, ace! 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, ace! 17, 18, 19, 20, ace! Close.